everyone. We're going to be getting started here in just a few minutes with Edward doing his presentation on MQ Trender Pro. Just wanted to let you all know we're getting all set up here in YouTube, and Edward's getting set up in GoToWebinar. And yes, we'll be starting very shortly. Everyone, it looks like we're ready to go here, so I'm going to go ahead and start our intro video, and then we'll have Edward come on just after that.
All right, thank you. You did read the disclaimer, right? Because it seemed to have been muted in the GoToWebinar. I just want to make sure. Okay. Anyways, well, thank you guys, everybody, for being here. I appreciate you taking the time to be here with me. I wanted to go over a couple of my favorite add-ons by MicroQuant, which would be MQ Trender, as well as value charts. But before I get fully started, I just want to kind of get a confirmation on audio check. I've had some problems in the past, want to avoid that. If anybody can just kind of confirm you hear me, that would be awesome. Let's see here, and then we'll get started. Okay. I'm going to assume that we're all good here. So value charts, here's the disclaimer. I believe Bobby had kind of gone over that with you guys. Value charts and MQ Trender was created by MicroQuant. Thomas Wood is kind of one of the founders of it, where he had worked at a hedge fund for quite a while. He's been had some trading experience for over 15 years, and then he kind of ended by being a head trader with MicroQuant, but he works with value charts and stuff, and I found these systems to be very helpful and powerful. So I just kind of wanted to go through everything to kind of show you what MQ Trender can do for you. For those that already have it, as well as value charts, you can kind of use this as a training tool and maybe a new way to look at these tools. For those of you that don't have it, prepare, because these are some pretty awesome tools. You might find new ways to locate opportunities, and you might find that you really like it. There's an awesome special at the end, so stay tuned for that as well. So MQ Trender is a trend trading system that will give you several colors on a chart. It'll kind of go through trend strength, allow you to scan for opportunities, and give you a lot of information about the chart with momentum and stuff. And immediately, what you'll notice right here is, so they've applied simple colors to the chart to allow you to understand whether the trend is strongly bullish all the way up to strongly or strongly bearish all the way up to strongly bullish, and everything in between. The colors that you'll get is actually 6 colors. which is the bright red, dark red, blue, the greens, and then the grays. The grays are to let you know when something is extended, when a trend has kind of gone too far. It'll basically make sure you're cautious about it so you can know when to tighten stop losses and stuff. It's very unique, and we'll kind of go over that in a chart so you can see for yourself. But this is what it does. It'll paint the candlesticks these different colors. That way you can understand, where the strength of the trend lies. Sometimes it can be very difficult to understand that, whether you're new, or even you have experience. Sometimes you might just kind of feel like you don't really understand, what's going on immediately inside the trend. And this really does help gauge that, which is very powerful. It also offers, these yellow candles where it'll kind of let you know, hey, put your trailing stop in or tighten your stop loss, which is great. And then the unique thing, the other tool they have is value charts. Their value indicator works really well, I found, with their trender add-on. The value indicator will give you 3 different colors from top to bottom, kind of in a band, where you'll see the reds up top here, the yellows, and then the green, which is fair value, then the yellow below and the red below. And then as you can see to the side, if you have like red little bars at the top there, that means something's extremely overvalued. And then yellow is just overvalued. Green would be fair value, and then yellow below is undervalued, and then extremely undervalued. And that's the unique thing about the value charts indicator. Value charts is really awesome because it's kind of like having the blue book for stock charts, right? Or, I mean, you can use it on pretty much anything, which is what's also unique. So really, it's like having blue book for the markets. You have your blue book for cars. You want to understand the value of something before you buy it, because you don't know whether you're getting a good deal or not. Value charts helps you with that. And then another thing that these 2 add-ons will be coming with is the momentum indicator, where it's basically like the MACD indicator, but they've made it to be more aggressive, and it works really well with their add-ons. Immediately with the indicator itself, you'll see a solid line and a dotted line, much similar to the MACD. You have the faster and the slower line, and then you have the histogram behind it, which allows you to understand the strength of the run. The bigger the histogram, the harder it's pushing, right? Now, when you combine all these inside MetaStock software, you can get some really, really unique opportunities, and we're going to go ahead and just go through that right now. Let me pull up MetaStock here. Okay, so let me go ahead and open up a chart. And also, I want to let you guys know, whenever you have any questions about anything, please let me know. I'm going to try to keep all this inside MetaStock and just want to kind of go over different charts with you. So if you want to see specific charts, go ahead and type in the symbol. I can see all the questions and stuff from YouTube and GoToWebinar. So let's go ahead and open up a random chart here. For those of you that don't know MetaStock, this is kind of the opening screen when you jump into MetaStock software. The Power Console gives you all your main primary tools inside MetaStock. And for right now, we'll go to the chart tab. And let's go ahead and open up a chart. I'm going to just open up Apple. PL.O. Many different ways you can open up charts and kind of customize the chart before you open it. We'll go ahead and apply it to a daily interval. And we'll start there. You can work with intraday charts as well on these tools. It works just fine. And then we'll apply the smart chart, and we'll see. We'll click open chart down here. And then now I need to apply you know what I forgot to do was apply the template with the chart opening, which I should have done, but I'll apply a template a different way here. I have a specific webinar template. Okay. So this is, you know what? Actually, I do not want to open this template. I'm sorry. I want to open this template after I show you the original templates first. So I'm going to close that and open the MQ Trender template. We'll talk about MQ Trender, and then we'll talk about value charts, and I'll kind of combine both of them to show you the power of both, and then we'll go from there. So let me open MQ Black here. I like the black background. I think it looks, I don't know, it seems to be opening up several charts here. Oh, looks like I tried to open up a layout, which I did not mean to do that. That's strange. That's why, because they have like a monthly, daily, and a weekly layout that you can apply with MQ Trender. That's another thing. So they have a few different templates, as you did notice there. You can apply different ones. This is just like a basic with a black round. I like it. I think it looks neat. And this is kind of what it immediately looks like when you open a chart with the MQ Trender applied to it. You'll see a bunch of signals, a bunch of colors that I mentioned. We got the different greens, the reds, the blue, the grays. You'll notice grays. And then we also have the momentum indicator at the bottom, allowing you to understand where momentum is going, which direction it's pushing. So it's even just additional assistance on that. And then let's see, I'm going to apply the commentary window so you can see that as well, because their tools do come with commentaries. So for anyone that's, wants to get more information out of the chart, you can apply a commentary and it'll tell you literally everything what to do, which is a great addition to their tools because it can be very helpful. But as soon as you understand exactly how everything works, then, you don't have to use the commentaries, but these can provide great information. So let's go to a signal, previous signal here, and say like this long. And this is the commentary window where it's going to kind of show you about the signal itself. It's saying right here, it's currently neutral to bearish, indicating that we are likely to move higher. This can indicate that Apple Inc. will continue to move higher. Watch for signals. And I went to this signal right here on the chart. I'm kind of hovering around it. It's a long entry. There's several different types of signals here. We read over the long entry. You'll get the long entry signals, long trailing stop signals. There's also the short long entry signals, or the long exit signals that you'll get. And then there's short entry signals because this system does go long and short. So you can kind of, follow the trend, whichever direction it's going. Let's say, you can also scan for these signals as well, which is very well. Let me see here. So I'm going to show you guys the different scans here. Sorry about that. Also, I just want to let you guys know, if you guys notice any background noise, I am at home, unfortunately, because I was under the weather. So I apologize for any background noise that can come through. But one of the great powers of MetaStock is you can scan for these long signal entries to find great opportunities. And what we would do here is we'd open up the Power Console, and then we would start scrolling down the exploration list here. And you'll notice that the MQ Trender system has many different opportunities available to scan for. One of the things that I like about the MQ Trender is that they have different types of scans. One of them being new long entry signals, which we'd kind of identified here on the chart. And then you can also scan for stuff like surges, which are breakouts. So MQ Trender will allow you to scan for like 5-bar breakouts or 10-bar breakouts, which are right here, in case you're someone that really likes to look for those breakouts and follow the trend that way. But then you can also look for just brand new entry signals, short surge breakouts and stuff like that. I'm going to show that you can, I'm going to scan here. Sorry about this. I'm going to just quickly run a scan on the S&P 100 so I can show you kind of what the scan looks like after you run that. And then what we're going to do is go through value charts. I want to show you kind of what the value chart system looks like, and then I want to apply both of them, showing you kind of the power between the two add-ons there. My apologies. And then also, does anybody want to look up any charts? I would be very happy to kind of go through charts with you. If anyone wants to look up anything specific. This is being a little slow here. I don't know what's going on. Okay. we're going to let that do its thing. What I want to do with this chart here is I want to show you kind of how you would take trades as you go. So if you were to scan for an opportunity and you come across this long entry signal, you might be wondering, is this a trade I want to take? One thing you can do is look at the momentum indicator, and that's kind of their idea with it, is you can see which direction momentum is going. And that can, if you look at this momentum indicator, you can see that we're moving upwards, which is a good signal. Plus we're getting a new long entry right here. And then afterwards, the trend was very strong, and you can see that we had a great move. One thing that I really like about this add-on that they show, I'm going to close this commentary to give us some more chart here that we can see. One thing that I really like about this add-on is that the signals and the indicators that are working in the background seem to understand where the trend is going to be heading ahead of time. It's really good at predicting that. And I'll give you an example here. As you can see, right here, we had a good move up, and then we kind of went sideways, and then the trend strength kind of turned to blue, from green to blue, saying it's kind of neutral. And then we kept going down, and then it turned bearish. And then price kind of stayed in that channel, and it didn't immediately just go bullish, but it broke out. And then you can see, like, hey, on this bar right here, the indicators in the background are saying this is going to start moving up. We've been kind of bearish, neutral the past 2 months, but it detected that it's going to start moving upwards. And if you followed that trend strength there, you can look at the move that it had after that, which is kind of one of the powers with MQ Trender, is it picks up the strength of a trend really well. And then the colors of that trend is very helpful. As you can see in this area over here, I'm going to circle. We're very bullish, and then we kind of swapped over to more bearish trend. It went to neutral, and then we went just bearish. So a dark green is bearish, and then light green is bullish, and then a light green up here is very bullish. As we started moving up, we went bullish. We could have jumped in on that. Momentum's looking good, and then it just kept moving up. It did stay sideways. It had, during that trade, it did jump down a little bit, so it kind of gave us an indication to put a trailing stop loss there. Which if we would have tightened that up, I think we would have still been in the trade. But then as it kind of started going down, it takes a while to turn red sometimes, because it's still predicting things aren't just going to drop immediately. But then you can see it went bearish, and then, bam, it caught this trade very perfectly there. So that's kind of the power behind the MQ Trender, is it understands not just based on momentum, but where trends should be going, and you can take advantage of that. I don't know what's going on with this. I think I selected too many stocks to scan there. Let me redo that. I apologize about that. But yeah, that's MQ Trender. Does anyone have any questions about the MQ Trender system and kind of how it can help, or do you want to look up any charts or anything? And then I'm seeing a question here regarding NinjaTrader. This is not available on NinjaTrader. This system would be for MetaStock software, and you can get a trial if you haven't used MetaStock yet. We'll go through all those details, but you would be applying this inside the MetaStock software. Also, this system is not back testable. We do offer back testing inside MetaStock. This is meant just for, it's kind of like scanning the expert advisor and the commentary. Another thing you will notice about this chart, though, is there's a ribbon here towards the bottom. The ribbon also lets you know when something's bullish or something's bearish. There's some other background work going on, so you can keep that in mind as well as additional help there. But there's that chart. Now, let's see. No, it looks like today on the S&P 100, this did have one signal. Yes, I do agree that A-Rod said the best indicator is learning how to read price action. That is very true. Understanding how to read price action is extremely important. MQ Trender does really help with that by giving you the indications of bearish and bullishness, which is what's really unique about it. I'm going to apply this template here on the chart. So I ran the scan here. I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I ran the scan here on the S&P 100. I kind of wanted to show an example of just like a new long entry, and I want you to know that this isn't a recommendation, but I was looking for a quick opportunity so I can show you what it looks like running a scan. On the S&P 100, it did show that there's one potential opportunity today, which this is the chart here. If you double click it, it opens up the chart, and it's showing that today, it looks like as of recently, it's been kind of sideways, there was a long trade, then it exited, and then today it's showing some strength again. So that's always something you can kind of keep an eye out. Another good thing to keep in mind when you're looking at signals is always look at the momentum indicator. That thing it's very powerful. It's like an enhanced MACD, so I like it a lot. You can see the momentum indicator is starting to turn from pointing down, and it just started curling up, if that makes sense. So putting those two together, it could be a good potential opportunity that I would consider based on those factors there. But again, this is not a recommendation, but that's kind of how it would look when you scan for those specific type of opportunities. Again, that was a new long entry position. And this chart is actually very interesting. If you can see here, I'm going to pull back a little bit to right here. As we are sideways, MQ Trender was very bullish. I mean, not very, sorry, I keep getting those mixed up. It was pretty bearish from here on this point, and then it actually caught this drop really well, which is a very nice catch there. And then as we kind of stayed sideways, MQ Trender understood, hey, this thing is finally becoming neutral and it's turning around, and then you can see that this trend moved nicely after it understood that it's getting bullish there. In fact, it went very bullish on this signal right here after we did have a bit of it's kind of shaky towards this long trailing stop, where I would have tightened up right there. But after we had that new long entry signal, we moved up really well. And so, yeah, that's a very interesting chart. I like that. That'd be a good trade there. That's kind of the power behind MQ Trender. Now I kind of want to show you what value charts does, and then I want to combine them, because my power when using them is using them both together. It just gives me a lot more information. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close these charts out, and then I'm going to show you value charts. We'll open this power console here. Instead of applying MQ Trender, we'll apply the value charts, and I'll go through what is included in value charts, how it works, and then let's go from there. So I'll do Apple again, APL.O, and then I'm going to apply the value charts template this time. MQ value charts. They're both made by Microquant, so MQ is the abbreviated MQ right there for Microquant for both of those. Okay, and then here is what value charts would initially look like on, I'm going to change the background back black here though. So value charts is one of my favorite tools because, like I said, oh, I got to change some bars here. Sorry guys, let me hurry and change these bars. Make these like red and green. One great thing, if you're not a MetaStock user, is these charts are so customizable. That's often one of the good comments I hear about MetaStock is how customizable it is. You can change a lot of different things about the chart to make it your preference, what you prefer. In this case, I just realized that the commentary, so when you're looking at the value charts, you're going to get that same momentum indicator. It's very important with value charts. And then the value indicator is below, which is right here. As I mentioned before, you get that kind of that band of 3 different colors, the red, yellow, green. The lower the color, it's undervalued. Overvalued is at the top. You got your extremely overvalued and your extremely undervalued there at the bottom, and then fair value is green. This is going to be very important when you're when you're trying to decide what you want to do in a trade. I'm going to change this back to white. The reason is because I want to show you guys the expert advisor. The expert advisor is kind of what's given these signals here on the chart. Value charts will tell you when pressure is showing, whether it's neutral bearish or neutral bullish, and it just kind of lets you know that, hey, this is getting very overvalued, just so you're aware, so you can tighten stop losses. Value charts also provides buy and sell signals. The way it does that is it's going to be looking at the momentum indicator. Once the momentum indicator starts moving up, both the slow line, which is the dotted line, and the solid line, once they start moving in one direction and the value indicator bounces from undervalued and then starts going up towards overvalued, you'll get the signal that, hey, everything's starting to move in the correct direction. This is how we got the buy signal here, because we see that the momentum stuff is moving up. And if we look at value, the value was right. Let me circle it and then I'll extend it to show you. And this is where the buy signal is for value charts. You'll notice how good that is. So there's the value indicator. I guess it's still a little hard to see with that blue line. The day before, when it bottomed out, is the circled bar right here. It shows the the undervalued price point, and then it started moving upwards towards fair value. At that same moment is when the momentum indicator was moving up, and so that's how we got the buy signal right here, which I'm going to delete for you because you'll see it better. And then you'll notice the move. Look at how great that move was, just between the value indicator and the momentum line itself. That can be very powerful. So for those that like more long-term trades, value chart signals are very powerful by itself. You also have the same thing for the sell signals. When things start moving the same direction, it bounces from overvalued and starts moving down. You'll get those sell signals. Now, to kind of show the value indicator a bit more and kind of how the information you can get out of the value indicator, we'll go ahead and extend it. So you'll notice, that the value indicator is bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down. What MicroQuant has figured out, it was vetted by 3 PhDs. They realized when something's undervalued or extremely undervalued, there's over a 90% chance it's going to move towards fair value. Same for vice versa. If it's extremely overvalued, there's over a 90% chance it'll start moving back towards fair value, meaning coming down in most cases. So it's a great way to understand when to get into your trades. For an example, let's say that you want to, you're following this chart here, and you're ignoring the VC buy signals. You're just looking at the value chart, the value indicator. What you can do is you can buy in when it's extremely undervalued, and then you can sell as it starts moving back up. And I'll kind of identify one of those type of opportunities, which is right here on the chart. So this is where it's extremely undervalued or significantly undervalued, this bar right here, and then it moves back up towards overvalued or fair valued, which is this point right here. That is one thing. So those dots that you notice in the circles on the chart there, those are actually painted by the expert advisor. Those are there so you don't even have to look at the value indicator. You can just be focusing on those red dots, getting in, getting your information from those dots itself. But that's kind of how the value indicator works. You're looking for opportunities, that are undervalued, and then you jump in and decide when to get out, either when they're overvalued, tying your stop loss at that point. And that's a good way that you can kind of trade on choppy markets with this indicator. You can understand when something's trending. When something is trending, it's typically harder to understand when to get in, but the value indicator will let you know when something dips so you can get in at a fair value. So there's a lot of different ways you can actually use the indicator for that, and that's kind of where MQ Trender comes in. Now, other things that come with this add-on, let me get out of the drawing tool, is you get the expert advisor. sorry, the commentary from the expert advisor, which will just kind of explain all these things to you. We'll go to this buy signal though, because I want to read off the buy signal, kind of telling you exactly what this says. So when you do see a buy signal, the commentary is going to say, the conditions indicate the market momentum is gaining. At the same time, its relative valuation is still low, representing a value buy that has potential energy to move higher and room to run. And then it also gives you considerations. So it comes with the whole package. You got the expert advisor, you got the value indicator, the momentum indicator, information on the chart. You can trade it in many different ways, understanding the dips and trends, and when something's sideways, you can trade choppy markets by getting in low, selling high, kind of like that. Other things that this package is great for, the momentum indicator, which is on both add-ons, is it's good at spotting divergences. Just like the MACD, the value or this momentum indicator can spot divergences, which is great for reversal opportunities. You can keep that in mind with the signals itself and the value indicator. It looks like we have a little divergence right here, which I'll notate, kind of show you here. So the price is moving down right here, and I'll make that a little bit bigger. Oh, sorry, okay, so I'm gonna make this a little bit thicker for you guys. There we go. So we can see that the price is, in this area, the price is continuing to make new lows, but you'll notice that the momentum indicator is not making a new low. It actually made a higher low, which is a great divergence opportunity right there to keep your eye on the potential reversal. Not only that, but if you put that together with the value chart's buy signal, it looks like you had a great move right there. It did come back down a little bit. Dips are pretty natural on bigger moves, and then it shot up pretty well. So just that alone is a lot of information with the value charts add-on right there. And then now what I want to show you, well, I guess first I would like to take questions. If anyone has any questions, any more questions or anything that I can pull up, I'd be happy to. Just feel free to let me know here. Okay, I guess I'll keep going. If anyone wants to see charts, I'm happy to pull them up and kind of go through the charts with you. The other thing that you'll get with value charts is you'll get the scans. It comes with some scans. The value charts will allow you to scan for anything that is overvalued, undervalued. Sorry, these are extremely overvalued, extremely undervalued, significantly overvalued, and significantly undervalued. And then you can scan for the buy and sell signals that we went through on the chart there. So you can really use it however you'd like, which, whenever I use it, I actually look for extremely overvalued or extremely undervalued. Those are where the value indicator, I think when the value indicator passes this 10 mark, anything above the 10 on this right. So in this area right here, that's considered extreme when the value indicator goes into that zone right there. Same with below. So you can scan for anything that's extreme, like in those areas, and then I'll point out exactly where that is on the chart. So you can see here, it looks like this extremely overvalued area, you would have scanned for something. You would have pulled up the chart for right there if you scanned for it on that day when it was extremely overvalued, which can work well for shorts and longs. I mean, if you like to short the market, that's a great scan to have. Same if you're someone that just goes longs, scan for those extremely undervalues. That's another plus that you'll get with that, is all those different kind of scans. Now, what I want to do is show you finally kind of how you can put the two add-ons together and use them. And then I actually have a pattern that I found that worked well for swing trading on both of those. Now I'm going to, what I did to to combine both of the add-ons is I would just open up value charts, and then I would go to Expert Advisor and I would apply the MQ Trender Expert, which will just basically take away the VC buys and the VC sells, and then it'll take away like the neutral bearish and all these lines here, and then it's going to give you the trender stuff. Because that's what I typically look at is I look at the trender signals, and then I use the value indicator to understand where the value lies in there, the trend strength. So that's how I would do that. And for anyone that has the two add-ons, you can just copy it that way, open up value charts and apply the Expert Advisor, the Expert Advisor of MQ Trender, and it'll give this to you. I would then just change the background here, and we have MQ Trender with value charts. Now, here's where it gets fun. Okay, so we'll just start from this chart here. When you're kind of looking at a chart, you'll understand, you know, the trend strength with MQ Trender. You can see something is very, very bullish here, and then you'll use the value indicator to get in on dips when you notice things are very bullish with MQ Trender. And you could do this with other systems too. You can put value charts on anything and probably make great patterns, you know, or understand dips and stuff like that with other software as well. But MQ Trender, it works really well with, along with the momentum indicator here. But for this signal, this trend right here specifically, let me go ahead and extend this. If we were kind of looking at this trend and we wanted to jump in, you can actually locate opportunities with the value indicator. When we're very bullish, you can get in when things are undervalue. And that's all these points right here. You can also secure profits when things get overvalue. So maybe you're inside this trend and you've been following it ever since the long signal has appeared. And as you're following it, you can start taking your profits as things kind of go sideways and get overvalue. Now, when you're in a trend, you'll notice that the value indicator is going to be on the overvalue side, which is normal because as things move up, prices continue to move up, things will stay overvalued. It's just very normal to see. But what you can notice for sure or keep in mind is when things get extremely overvalued, just be cautious. And it's almost kind of like putting that together with the overextended gray bars on the MQ Trender add-on. That'll let you know like, hey, this is getting extended, be cautious. And also, hey, this is getting very overvalued, extremely overvalued, be cautious. And so you can just kind of start tightening up stop losses. This could be very helpful because I know there's a lot of traders out there, as myself, even when you're in a trade, it's very difficult to figure out when to get out of a trade. And putting these two systems together can really help with that. You know, you can know when to start paying attention and being cautious about your trade, tightening up stop losses, start securing your profits based on these specific tools within these add-ons. And then you can also re-enter into trades too with the value indicator. After it dips and it's getting undervalued, if it stays green, I mean, you can use these in many different ways to continue to secure profits and get into new opportunities there. Also works really well for going downwards, going bearish, right? When we are, let me find a stronger bearish trend here so I can just show you. That one's a little, this is kind of a very bullish chart, so there won't be too much opportunity, but for shorts that is. But you know, as things are going bearish, MQ Trender caught this. I mean, look at how well it caught that. Up, 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 and then as soon as it went red, I mean, we just kept going down. And this is another great thing. So as let's say we're following Apple and we got to this short signal on Apple, where, you know, very undervalued, which is normal. We're going to probably potentially start a new trend, so that's okay. So what we're going to do if we want to short this is we're going to wait for the value indicator to go to overvalued. And as we can see, that happened right here. which aligns with this area. And that's some pretty crucial information if you're going short. What you want to do is you want to get in when things are overvalued. And so that would have been a great trading opportunity, as you can see. And then as soon as things kind of, the yellow arrows showing up, basically saying to tighten your stop losses, your trailing stops, you want to do that. And then collect profits there when it starts reversing. But then you can start going the other way. So that's how powerful adding the two together can be, understanding the strength of the trend, understanding when to best get into the trend on those dips. That can be very helpful. Also, when to be cautious about your trade. When things get extremely undervalued or extremely overvalued, you can start tightening stop losses and stuff like that. Now, there's a pattern that I found when I was using these systems I was swing trading about a year ago, and this is actually a pattern that I used several times. I think I found 3 trades. I traded with it 3 times or something like that, and they all turned out pretty decent. I would exit them pretty quick because it's like a swing trade. So with these signals, when you come across a long entry signal, what I would typically do is I would look for the value indicator to be bouncing from undervalued into fair value. That way they're kind of lining up. And this is a somewhat of an example right here. Let me just kind of make this chart bigger right here for you guys. And I'll zoom in. Oh. Okay, so with this signal right here, this one in particular, I would look at that, as a potential opportunity, and then I would pull up the value indicator immediately, and I would line it up. I'd put a bar right here, line that up, and then I'd look at the value indicator. What the value indicator is telling me is we were recently undervalued, and now we're moving up. And you can see that right here. We were extremely undervalued. We're in fair value. The day before this signal happened, we were still in fair value, and we're still on fair value inside the current day. And then, as you'll notice, we had a good pop up. And this is, I've seen this many times with this specific pattern. Now, you can use that in many different ways. I typically just would hold it for a few days, wait for a good run up, and then have a really tight stop loss. But you can then also follow the trend with MQ Trender and just make sure the trend stays very bullish. And then as soon as it hits extended like it did over here, tighten your stop losses and be careful that way. But that's an awesome pattern that I had found and was looking for new long entry signals, looking at the value indicator, making sure it bounced. If I'm going to go long, I want to make sure it recently bounced off of that undervalued state, because typically prices will move back up towards overvalued and things kind of bounce around, they kind of ping pong, right? And so that's what I was doing, and I had several trades that worked out. I'm actually going to pull up a chart to show you guys. I think it was DNB, the symbol. No. Bands. Let's go. Oh, I can't find it exactly. I thought the signal was DNB. Dono? No. Okay, I can't recall, but I'll just show you some more examples of the specific pattern here. And then I'll show you kind of how I located these signals. So like for that specific pattern, this new long entry signal right here, that's showing, it actually, the previous day, it bounced off of fair value. So that would be in my realm of a possible entry with that specific pattern. And as you can see, it moved up pretty well. And the way I like to look at it is, if we're starting to get a strong trend move in, as MQ Trender is detecting, which it's very good at forecasting potential trend strength, right? Look at the value and make sure it's kind of bouncing from lower and moving up. And if you'll sometimes notice signals that are already extremely overvalued, and those are the ones I would stay away from if I just wanted a quick trade. As you can see right here, it's extremely overvalued on the indicator, and there's a signal right here, a new long entry. And not that it's a bad signal, it's just if I'm trading with this pattern where I'm looking for the value indicator to be bouncing from lower up to a little higher, maybe in the fair value, that's what would make a more comfortable swing trade for me. But yeah, that's an example. I would avoid this one in this circle if I did a scan and saw that. But if I saw this one in a scan, I came across this and I saw the value indicator, I would probably have gotten in on that one, showing a great trade right there. What I would do here is I would scan for the long entry signals, and that's what I kind of did earlier with the MQ trender. I would scan for those long entries, and I would go through them, and I would look at the value indicator and just see it bouncing there. Let me get some other examples here. I'm going to just open up Best Buy. And then you guys are welcome to, again, put in some sample symbols I can open up. We can go through the chart. And then shortly here, we will go through pricing and kind of the promotion that we're going to be offering. So I'm going to do the name. I think it's just BB. Is it BB for Best Buy? Start with BlackBerry. Nope, BBY, right? Yes, Best Buy. There it is. Best Buy is another good chart. So you can see MQ Trender painting the different bars for the trend strength. Cool. I mean, you can see that Best Buy, watch this. And I know I've been having the momentum indicator kind of windowed away. I typically don't look at that. It's very helpful, but when I'm looking for this pattern, I don't really look at the momentum indicator. You probably could, probably should. I just haven't been. I just always will validate the symbol with the signal with the value charts indicator there. So I'm trying to check out the chart here for you guys. Yeah, Best Buy has been a bit sideways, as you can see. And that's one of the powers of value charts is a sideways chart. Value charts, when you're in sideways, value charts has great opportunities to pick up quick channel sideways movements. Buy low, sell high. You'll understand when something's low based on value, and then you could sell it when it's higher up. So for an example, you could buy low right there, and then you would sell at this point. That'd be a quick little trade right there for, you know, when things are kind of sideways. And you can keep doing that. And then when you're up here, you can do short where you would sold, and then you can sell as soon as you're undervalued. So you could do this kind of go long and then go short. And that's what I love about value charts is the sideways markets. It works really well with. So there's one of those. But let's go back to the pattern that I'd typically like. This one would be questionable. You got the long signal, and then it is overvalued. Previously, it was fair valued, so that one, it would be questionable. I would keep looking for better opportunities. This one, for that specific pattern, I would not take. But this is a great trade that MQ Trender caught. It caught, you know, saying it was bullish, go long. You could go long there and then just hold. And I mean, just look at how it went. As soon as it got to this point, it went very bullish. This point on the chart, and it just kept going and going and going. It got overextended, came down a little bit, stayed, and then unfortunately it would have hit. It lost a lot a few days ago. When it's overextended, though, that's when I would typically tighten my stop losses. I understand, you know, as things keep moving in one direction, there's eventually a point where it might come crashing down the other way. So I would have tightened stop losses there, hopefully securing up a lot of that profit that on that run up there. Let's see here. I want to locate some potential. I don't know why I just went to the very beginning again. Okay, we're kind of cutting close on time here. So would anybody like to look at a chart? I'd be very happy to pull one up for you guys. You know, I'll pull up the E-minis to show you guys it works on futures as well. Okay, so this is for those futures traders, if you trade the E-mini, I mean, it works just the same, like it works really well on futures, just as it did on the stocks that we were looking at. MQ Trender understood that we were getting bullish right here, stayed bullish, and then you can see when it starts going, or bearish. I keep getting those mixed up today. I'm so sorry. Bearish, and then you can also use the value indicator. It shows, when things dip based on price, which is right here. When things get overvalued, be careful. Things typically turn around when it gets overvalued, and as it did right there. So we trade futures, works great. I'll even open up a FOREX chart here to show you it works well on FOREX as well. We're going to open up the Australian dollar. Okay, now look at the Australian dollar here. MQ Trender likes to think this one's a very bullish chart. It looks like overall, until recently. But yeah, we can see that the value charts indicator works well. As soon as we're kind of getting overextended, you can see things get sideways based on value right here. Look at the momentum indicator. I mean, it works on everything. You can even look at hourly charts for those that like to do intraday trading. And you can look at the trend and the value on intraday charts and find these different patterns, or do your scans on those as well. Yeah, we can look up Ford chart. Looks like Ford. Hold on. Let me actually show. Yeah, let's see. Which is just F. Okay, this is the intraday chart. Let's go to daily. This would be Ford. It works, it's picking up these trends really well on Ford. Even, on the, when it's telling you if it's overextended, it's going sideways after that. Yeah, I mean, this is a great chart for this combination here. Picked up this this bearish area, this entire bearish area, started flipping. I mean, yeah, I mean, this chart, this bundle here, it works out really well for a lot of different symbols, as you can see. The personalities there, it just matches great with a lot of different charts. Then we'll go back to hourly. Let's look at the hourly chart on Ford. See how well it catches these trends. There's this little breakout right here, caught the trend pretty well on hourly itself. So if you're day trading Ford, it's spotting great trades there. Again, use the value charts. You can understand where the value is at when you're getting into trades. Kind of buy low, sell high with the value there. And yeah, you definitely find some great opportunities in there. And you could even do this on like 30-minute charts and stuff. So that's basically what value charts and MQ Trender looks like inside MetaStock software. You can run your scans, you can apply your templates how you want them to look. You could use the same kind of template I did, where you're looking at the MQ Trender strength, getting in on the dips of the trend there when things start dipping low, but we're bullish. Those could be very good opportunities, which, it's showing right here that that would have been a great opportunity. Again, this is probably when I would have got into. Didn't hold really well for too long, but they don't always win. You can run your scans and have great opportunities with your trades here. Now let's go back to the powered slide. If anyone wants to look up any other charts or anything, let me know and I'll pull some other charts up. What you'll get with this combination is you will get all of the MQ Trender indicators, the bullish explorations, the bearish ones, as well as the expert advisors. So you can kind of customize your charts how you'd want to. You're going to get the templates, the different templates they have. So you can open up the weekly and daily charts, the monthly, weekly, daily, all those different charts there. And then as far as training, you're going to get a manual that'll come with this one. It also comes with value charts, which value charts will give you that value indicator. Both of them give you the momentum indicator, of course, and then you'll get those, the scans, the explorations for value charts, which there's 6 of them. You can scan for those buy and sell signals, those undervalued and overvalued areas. Typically, these add-ons are $14.95 each as a one-time cost. And then for the webinar, though, we're going to drop that down to $9.95, depending on, you can get whichever one you prefer. They also do come with a 30-day money back. It looks like I'm getting a question. Yes, I did do Apple. Let me go ahead and pull Apple back up, though, if you want to see it. We have time. And these do come with a 30-day money back. So let's say you try it and you maybe want to test it out. It doesn't work out well, you can exchange it, return it. So very low risk. If for those that do not have MetaStock, we do offer a trial. I can bundle that in there as well. I'd be happy to help you set that up. Here's Apple, though, to the gentleman that had asked about Apple. This is kind of the chart we were showing at the beginning most of the time. This is with the template that I created with both value charts and MQ Trender. Works really well on Apple. I mean, you can see those trends. MQ Trender calls those out really well with the strength there. The momentum indicator moves well with those, and the value indicator would be a great way to identify when to get in. So there's that chart again. Thank you for asking for that. So here's my information. You're welcome to save it. I'm happy to help you set anything up. If you would like to test the tools out, you can ask for Edward in chat, take down my phone number and call me directly. For this webinar special, though, we are going to offer the combo package for both of these at just $12.95, which is honestly, I don't even know how I'm able to do this offer, but I'm able to do it for 1 week. For anybody that catches this webinar a little late, I can give this bundle package to you for $12.95. Normally, it would be $3,000 or like $2,990, right? Because they're $14.95 each. Get both of them today for just $12.95. If you are new to MetaStock software, you haven't used it yet, I will help you with the trial. We do have a 3-month trial. We have the real-time software, the end-of-day software. So make sure to call me. I'll give you the best package that I can, the one that'll fit you most, and we can get you started with these tools here. Does anybody have any questions or anything regarding the software, the tools, the add-ons there that we went through, or the pricing? Please let me know. I'll keep this open here for a couple of minutes. But I do appreciate everyone's time today. I'm going to be honest, it's been a while since I've done a webinar. I think the last one I did was almost a year ago, so I was a bit out of my game there. But overall, I think I was able to show kind of the power that you can get out of both of the tools there. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I'll just kind of keep this window open on my information for a moment. And just really quickly, that +1 801 number, that's support's phone number. I don't know how that got snuck in there, but if you need support or help, you can call them, but just give me a call directly. You can avoid that number, though, if you want to get a hold of me. 800-587-8062, or ask for Edward in our chat room, and I can get you that special promotional offer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end it there, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time. And again, I hope to hear from you soon.